Many of you have followed up releases from finance through controller to parliament will know that this delay is not unique to this parliament. It happens. And more often than not, a lot of work had been done by the leadership. And here I'm talking about the two leaders. So yesterday, or even the day before, I was in touch with the majority leader before he left for Kumasi. He gave me heads up in terms of what communication had gone on for the releases to Parliament. And he tells me he had apprised the clerk of Parliament and then the chief account officer, Mr. Dan, about it. So they all had a foreknowledge of the processes involved and the fact that the releases had been done. I'm talking about a 25 million outstanding goods and service to Parliament. So yesterday when the Speaker was lamenting, indeed, officially the release had been effected. It was just going through the process. The communication often comes from finance ministry. It goes to controller. Controller does the releases. It goes to BOG before it hits the account of Parliament. That is the normal process. So the process had kickstarted. And so it was just a matter of few hours for it to hit Parliament's account. Interestingly, I think around 2 to 3 p.m., I got a confirmation from Parliament that the money has indeed hit the account. So I'm quite surprised that, I don't know if it's because the clerk failed to update the Speaker accordingly, because the Speaker's statement was a bit presumptuous. And I with the greatest respect to him, he has exercised a bit of restraint. I think that he may not have made that comment that Parliament is broke. It creates an image of our country, and it's not too good, especially in the face of the fact that releases had been done and was just going through the process. So the 25 million goods and services which was outstanding in relation to Parliament has been released, and I can confirm that it has hit the account. So yesterday, when I got the confirmation, I followed up and informed the Speaker accordingly that, in fact, the money had been released. It was just taking some processes for it to hit the account. And I thought that you, the media, should know about that. Not just the 25 million goods and services. There's also a release of 50 million to the NHIA, because there was also some outstanding. And that has been confirmed by the controller, and NHIA has accordingly also confirmed that amount. So these are the two things I want to speak to. Secondly, you recall we moved a motion related to some amount of money, some 75 million euro regarding COVID. And then you got the sense of the House that, earlier monies spent on COVID, there has not been some transparency or accountability, and therefore they wouldn't allow that. I had moved a motion for the question not to be put. There had been the debate, and we're just on the verge of the Speaker putting the question. Then I had moved that he shouldn't put the question, because I thought that we needed to do some more consultation. And you recall the Speaker had ruled that he's giving directive that unless the finance minister comes to the House to more or less render an account of monies released in relation to COVID, they will not be allowed for that agreement or motion to be taken. I also felt it was a bit unfortunate because, and here I'm choosing my words and expressions carefully. The Speaker has no persona on his own. For those of you who have followed Parliament, such decision has to be the sense of the House. So he communicates the sense of the House, but he cannot communicate his own decision, especially where the Speaker is not a member of Parliament. So we are members of Parliament. The Speaker is presiding and is expected to convey a sense of the House. The sense of the House at that time, material time, was that the question should not be put. But it wasn't that, unless the finance minister comes to the House to render account, will not. Nobody is shying away from accountability. But for a statement of fact, I am saying that was not. And I think that we have to correct that impression. And when when majority leader returns, we are going to engage the speaker. Going forward, we don't want to have any banter with the speaker. But where we think that things need to be straightened, we find a very much more, for want of a better expression, a much more diplomatic way of reaching out to ensure that we have peace and coexist in a peaceful manner for the progress and the execution of the work of Parliament. So it's to emphasize that the 25 million goods and services due Parliament has been duly released. It's hit the account of Parliament, and therefore there should be no cause of alarm. Further, a 50 million due the NHIA has also been released. I want to put on record that going forward, to avoid some of these presumptuous statements and unfortunate statements coming out, we are going to liaise closely with the Minister of Finance. I'm sure this is a matter of communication, and of course the clerk. If this communication had gone to the speaker earlier, probably the speaker may not have made this comment, and it took the whole nation by storm, where in actual sense it is not the reality, and it's not a true reflection of the state of affairs.